Posthumous albums have sparked heated debates in the rap world, raising questions about the integrity of an artist's legacy. While some projects feel like heartfelt tributes, others seem like blatant cash grabs, completely disregarding the artist's vision. From albums that sound pieced together with scraps to questionable collaborations, the aftermath of an artist's passing often leaves fans divided. Today, we're diving into some of the worst posthumous rap albums of recent years, projects that left fans disappointed and critics unimpressed. But before we dive into the details, let's talk about why posthumous albums have become such a controversial trend. Whether it's mismanagement, rushed production, or exploitation by labels, these projects rarely meet the expectations of fans who cherish an artist's original sound. And it's not just about bad music, it's about preserving a legacy. Let's break it down, starting with one of the most infamous examples, XXXTentacion's Bad Vibes Forever. After XXXTentacion's untimely passing in 2018, fans were eager to see how his legacy would be preserved. His first posthumous album, Skins, dropped in 2018 and received mixed reactions. While it didn't fully capture X's vision, it felt somewhat cohesive, with tracks like Train Food and Guardian Angel showcasing completed ideas. Then came Bad Vibes Forever in 2019, and it quickly became the prime example of how not to handle a posthumous release. The album had 25 tracks, and a staggering 80% of them were littered with features. Many of these collaborations were with artists X never worked with or would have never wanted to work with. For instance, Kill My Vibe originally featured Trippie Redd, someone X had history with. Instead, it was released with a feature from Tom G, leaving fans baffled. The album also included contributions from artists like Blink-182, Rick Ross, and Lil Wayne, making it feel more like a mashup than a cohesive body of work. To make matters worse, X's verses were often short and unfinished, leading to a sense that his raw ideas had been forced into songs just to fill space. It's hard to ignore the emptiness of Bad Vibes Forever. It wasn't all bad. Tracks like Triumph and Heart Eater still hold some replay value, but the overall project felt rushed and incomplete. Unlike some artists who leave behind an extensive vault of music, X's limited material was stretched thin, leading to an album that fans felt didn't honor his artistry. Pop Smoke was on the verge of superstardom when he tragically passed away in 2020. His first posthumous album, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, released that same year, was a shining example of how to do things right. With 50 Cent overseeing the project, it felt like something Pop would have released himself. The features were carefully chosen, and the production stayed true to his drill roots. Then came Faith, and it was the exact opposite. Released in 2021, the album was filled with features from artists Pop had never collaborated with or even publicly acknowledged. Dua Lipa, Pusha T, and Pharrell? None of these names align with Pop Smoke's gritty Brooklyn drill aesthetic. Even worse, Faith lacked the heart and soul that defined Pop's earlier work. Many tracks felt incomplete, and fans criticized the album for being a cash grab rather than a meaningful tribute. Despite a deluxe version being released later with even more features, the project failed to capture the magic of Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. Pop himself once said in an interview that he was selective about collaborations, which made the overwhelming number of features even more frustrating. Unlike X or Juice WRLD, Pop didn't leave behind a large vault of unreleased music, which made this album feel even more disjointed. For many fans, Faith was a disappointing end to a promising career. Juice WRLD's prolific output before his passing in 2019 meant fans had high hopes for his posthumous releases. While Legends Never Die 20 was met with widespread acclaim, subsequent projects haven't lived up to the same standard. Take Fighting Demons, for example. While the album had its moments, it was overshadowed by leaks and a sense of incoherence. Many tracks were already familiar to die-hard fans, leaving little new material to enjoy. Critics pointed out that the album felt like a collection of B-sides rather than a fully realized project. Then there was the Goodbye and Good Riddance Anniversary Edition. Instead of offering fans meaningful new content, this re-release felt unnecessary. The addition of tracks like 734 and the removal of original songs disrupted the flow of the album, making it feel like a shallow attempt to milk Juice's legacy. Why do posthumous albums fail? One common thread in these disappointing albums is the lack of input from the artists themselves. Posthumous projects often rely on unfinished material, and without the artist's creative direction, they can feel hollow or exploitative. Another issue is the over-reliance on features. While collaborations can add value, they often feel out of place when the featured artists have no connection to the deceased. Fans want to hear their favorite artist's voice, not a random lineup of guest verses. Finally, the involvement of unfamiliar producers and engineers can drastically change the sound. For example, Juice WRLD's posthumous album suffered from the absence of his go-to producer, Max Lord, leading to a noticeable dip in quality. Conclusion: posthumous albums are a delicate balancing act. When done right, they can preserve an artist's legacy and give fans a meaningful connection to their favorite musician. But when mishandled, they risk tarnishing that legacy and alienating the very audience they're meant to serve. From XXXTentacion's Bad Vibes Forever to Pop Smoke's Faith and Juice WRLD's later projects, it's clear that labels often prioritize profit over artistic integrity. These albums serve as cautionary tales for how not to handle a posthumous release. If you think we missed any other disappointing posthumous albums, drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep this conversation going and hopefully inspire better tributes to the artists we've lost. Thanks for watching, and as always, it's been Ramchan. See you in the next video.